Go ahead and get started here. The time is 12:51. Date is, this is a regular session, starting 이게 마음 좋아서 이거 All right. I apologize for that. Okay. We'll go ahead and the time is 12:52. Going into quarterly session October 10th through the 21st. Today is the 19th. So at this time, I want to go ahead and have an invocation. We'll go ahead and have Senator Tom Yellowtail give an invocation. Oh, thank you, Senator Yellowtail. We'll go ahead and start with a roll call from Black Lodge.
Point of order.
Sorry.
Yeah, just need a pro temp.
Sorry about that. We need a pro temp. I need a motion for pro temp. Go ahead, Senator Broban.
Motion for Sean Robert.
Okay, motion made for Sean Robert to be pro temp. Second by Senator Whiteclay. Question by Senator Melber. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, you may come up here, Senator Sean Robert.
He said put on my touch.
Oh, sorry. All in favor, raise your right hand for Sean Robert to be pro temp secretary. Okay. So 13 yes, 0 or 13. Okay. Bill, Sean, we'll go ahead get up here and now protocol. Without what the double no.
There you go, one no.
One no. Okay. So delete that. Like this. Let's go. So no protocol sheet Lego. So we have a protocol. What the okay. All right. With that being said, we'll go ahead and have Black Lodge go ahead and give roll call. Starting with roll call. Go ahead, Senator Three Irons.
Pierce, Black Lodge. Rogers, Black Lodge. Right here.
Go ahead, Eugene, or Tom, go ahead.
Yellowtail address here. Groveline, watching.
Deputy, big one here.
Black Lodge, White Clay here. Deep Green, Elm Creek.
Bonnie Elk Creek.
Good luck. You used to got Bataja here.
Melbourne, Wyoming.
Okay, Burden Ground present. Mago ka ba?
Showed you what, Judge. Showed a little bit. Yeah, look.
Okay, tally is pro temp. Sawa. Sawa. Isawa.
Let's see, there's 14.
Okay, 14 present. We have Pat, Senator Alden not present. He hasn't called in or anything, so he's absent. And then we move down. We have Senator Bryce Hooks called, but he has a doctor's appointment at 2, I guess. And then if you go down, Junior Robert is called, and he said he's, I believe he's in North Dakota right now. So, with that being said, Senator Nomi, Victor Nomi, he's recovering. Just to give you an update, he's recovering. He's going through rehab. He's out of the hospital, so so at this time, I'll go ahead. Senator, good luck.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Speaker, I'll make a motion to move the journals to the next special session Thursday.
Okay, motion is made by Senator Goodluck. I need a second. Second by Senator Hill. Question by Senator Melder Stone. All in favor, raise your right hand.
$14-0.
14-0. Okay, motion has been made. We'll go ahead and move on to amend the agenda.
Order. I believe that the journals and the reports were moved to the end of the agenda.
Already?
Previous
Okay,
session.
So if you want to do that,
so
you wait
we're-
till the end of the agenda.
Yeah.
okay. All right, that's fine. So we would
Withdraw.
recall that motion then?
Yeah, recall that.
Okay. Can you recall that motion?
Mr. Speaker, I retract my motion.
Senator Hill.
Mr. Speaker, I retract my second.
Don't.
Mr. Speaker, I retract my question.
Do we need a vote on it? No? All right. All right. Thank you. Then we can proceed now. Parliamentarian. All right. We'll go ahead to amend the agenda. Senator Hill.
Make a motion to move the CLB Pro Tribal Justice Improvement Act, and then inter-local agreement, limited waiver of sovereign immunity in front of the agenda.
Okay. Motion is made. Need a second. Second by Senator Goodluck. Question by Senator Decrain. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, motion has passed 14-0. 14 yes, 14 or 0 no, and 0 abstain. Thank you. Okay. We'll go ahead and proceed with the CLB. I believe you guys have a copy of it. Does anybody don't have a copy? And that was the first one was the Justice Bill, am I correct? Senator Hill?
Yes.
Okay. It's in your October packet. And it's CLB number 17, Pro-Tribal Justice Improvement Act of 2017. Am I correct? Don? Okay. At this time, we would read it into record. This was in Judicial Committee. Floor recognized Legal Don Gray.
Thank you, Speaker. Good afternoon, everyone. As requested by the House, I'm going to go ahead and read in the bill. October 2017 Pro-Tribal Legislature, CLB number 17-blank, introduced by Senator Paul Hill, Chairman of the Judicial Committee, Center Village District, a bill for an act titled Pro-Tribal Justice Improvement Act of 2017.
I need a motion to adopt. Motion by Senator Hill, second by Senator Whiteclay. You may proceed.
Legislative findings, whereas Article 5, Section 2A of the Pro-Tribal Constitution vests the Pro-Tribal Legislature and hereinafter legislature with the power and duty to promulgate and adopt laws, resolutions, codes, ordinances, regulations, and guidelines in accordance with the tribal constitution and federal laws for the governance of the Crow tribe. And whereas Article 4, Section 4A of the Crow Tribal Constitution provides that the general duties of the executive branch officials shall include the duty to implement all laws, resolutions, codes, and policies duly adopted by the legislature. And whereas Titles 3, 7, and 8 of the Crow Law and Order Code are in need of improvement to furtherance judicial independence, public trust, and greater access to justice for the best interests of the Crow tribe and the public before the judicial branch courts. And whereas the Crow tribe has experienced a rash of serious violent activity that has resulted in fatalities and increased trafficking of drugs that has affected the Crow reservation on a more regular basis. And whereas the administration of public safety and prosecution services is in need of its own establishment at arm's length from the tribal government, but with sufficient support from the Crow tribe in order to optimize on resources available for these services. And whereas the Crow tribe has always lacked in law enforcement services to provide sufficient public safety to the Crow Indian Reservation, resulting in slow response times to incident calls and making little or no impact on deterrence against crime in the community, including the lack of the tribe's ability to commission other officers or enforcement of tribal criminal laws, Whereas the Crow Indian Reservation is in need of further protection on the highways, whereby the laws for driving under the influence must be updated to provide a more responsible response to those who endanger the safety of the public. Whereas the legislature now seeks to improve the Crow Law and Order Code by making certain improvements as provided herein. Now therefore be it hereby enacted as law by the Crow Tribal Legislature in regular session. Section 1, repeal of previous law. The following laws are hereby repealed. A. Title 3 of the Crow Law and Order Code entitled Establishment of the Crow Tribal Courts and Tribal Jurisdictions. B. Title 8 of the Crow Law and Order Code entitled Crimes and Offenses, Title C, Criminal Traffic Offenses. C. Title 7 of the Crow Law and Order Code entitled Rules of Appellate Procedure in the Crow Court of Appeals. D. CLB 0201, an act repealing the existing Title 3 of the Crow Law and Order Code and establishing a new Title 3 of the Crow Tribal Law and Order Code. E. CLB 0202, an act amending Title 3, Chapters 1 through 7, Title 4, and Title 6, Rules 13 and 26 of the Crow Tribal Code to dissolve the existing Law and Order Commission and Public Safety Officer position, providing the legislative branch of the Crow tribe the authority to perform its limited duties. F. CLB 0-23, an act amending portions of Title 3 of the Crow Tribal Law and Order Code. G. CLB 03-01, a bill entitled to amend Title 3 of the Crow Tribal Code and for other purposes. H. CLB 03-09, an act to amend certain sections of Title 3 of the Crow Law and Order Code, and to provide an effective date for ratification of certain amendments made in the July session of the legislature, in parentheses, Title 3 language only. CLB 05-10, an act to amend the CLOC regarding the admission to practice before the Crow Tribal Court. J. CLB 05-14, an act providing for judicial elections and qualifications. K. CLB 07-16, a bill for an act establishing a Crow Tribal traditional Supreme Court in the Crow Tribal Court system. L. CLB 0909, an act to establish a Crow Tribal Drug Enforcement Division. M, CLB 0903, an act to amend 3-3-301.1 Chief Judge of Qualifications. N, CLB 15-01, an act to amend the Crow Law and Order Code to provide for a tribal prosecutor. O, CLB 0704, an act to amend Title 8A Criminal Procedure of the Crow Law and Order Code to provide for bail and other conditions of pretrial release, and to amend Title 3 to require confirmation of continuing special judge appointments. Only language to be amended there, as in parentheses, is the special judge appointments only. Section 2, codification in the Crow Law and Order Code. The following attached exhibits shall be codified in the Crow Law and Order Code as follows. A, Title 3, the Judicial Branch. B, Title 4, the Crow Tribal Department of Justice. C, Title 7, Crow Court of Appeals, Rules of Appellate Procedure. D, Title 8, Crimes and Offenses, Title 8A, Criminal Procedure, Chapter 10, Extradition. E, Title 8, Crimes and Offenses, Title C, Criminal Traffic Offenses. Section 3, Conflict Laws. In the event that other laws are found to be in conflict with this Act, the provisions of this Act shall be construed as the governing law. Section 4, Severance. In the event that any of this Act is found to be unconstitutional, the other provisions and their parts shall survive the unconstitutional language. Section 5, Savings. Joint Action Resolution 1004, approval of standard operating procedures for the Crow Tribe Drug Task Force shall remain effective and shall be updated subsequent to the passage of Title 4, Crow Tribe Department of Justice under Section 2 above. Section 6, effective date. This Act shall take effect immediately upon being duly adopted by the Crow Tribal Legislature and signed into law by the Executive Branch Chairman or pursuant to the veto override process as provided for under tribal law. Speaker?
Thank you. At this time, we'll go ahead and go into a 30-minute presentation. Lord,
I'll make a motion to waive a 30-minute presentation. Jesus, we play you all along, Clay. And we go out there, I think we went through this about 8, 9 times.
okay.
So
So-
I'll go ahead and do the presentation, unless somebody wants to present on it. Will you?
Okay. Floor recognizes William falls down to the floor.
I just want to thank you guys for pushing this through here. This is something that I think is very important. I've been in law enforcement for approximately 30 years, and this is one thing, one thing I'm really pushed for is tribal sovereignty. One thing in the Bureau, I was with the Bureau for 22 years, and in those 22 years I got to work in different reservations, and this is one thing that I really believe in, is the tribes enforcing their sovereignty and actually establishing their own infrastructure. So I think what I read on this, I'm really pleased with that. I think a lot of people will be, once it's enacted, I think you're going to see a better structure in our enforcement. So I think we still got a long ways to go. I think there's other things that we need to address too, but with this, I just want to thank you guys for Paul for working on this. And Don, he's doing a great job on this.
Thank you, Mr. Paulson. We'll go ahead and have Senator Hill to the podium.
Thank you, Speaker, Secretary, body, visiting guests, legislative employees, Moabes, big collective. Moab, I've been, just to let you guys know, I've been working on that for 4 years. for a few years it could me look at it to the go has for justice enough me do it so I work very to my na hagi bawla as you call it's not an Alakazam yeah hagi ga J Harris also my lagi me na 4 years ago it bawla jo call so na kalak se na bill ga na hagi raja Raja sa Mahali dahil sa na deal with it was also taga omnibus deal mahaji kaya each way omnibus deal that ball with it na hagi so maji siya si kaya na hagi siya Batman class kaya kaya ball with na took a piece out from that omnibus deal come up with this justice deal. So like it's the whole mind like we're heading to the future. We stay status quo, balance and was like basically you know there are times when we have to change. I gave a lot of shit at college school because I got college in New Mexico. A lot of New York, grade school, high school, they do with it. About the shit is we're not inventing the wheel. They must shit like judicial systems on. Charge gas, the business of all over. I got the book. This is a step right here. Again, what judges now what charge. Prosecution what charge. No, all safety it is. Okay, when you want to boy like I might if I got 100% chance of getting killed, both sides watch me. Safety it is cool, I got balls just 6 it. No, people was up said vision vision no, we want to bring business in. And this is a step towards it. It's just not about, throwing people in jail and all that kind of stuff, but it's a vision towards stepping in that direction where we can bring business in. And when I say business, arbitration, I made from limited waiver of sovereign immunity and new again. So they equate limited waiver it is. It should be in our court, not their court. They want chat, the judicial system want chat, And that's a foot, a direction towards where we're going right now. I guess the revenue is more like finance do. In the past, it was somewhere between 30 and 35 million. I got revenues. Revenue, we all got 14 million. We got it in our tribe. What should we? And so we need that strong judicial system to, keep on going with our business. And to those shoes on pitching the ways, we have all these problems that are coming in. It's bottom law. Do I guys at school? Sean, mom, they got him because Eugene was, and so that's us. No, I guess we did come off because of methamphetamine. So we need to, you can't stop drugs, but I think we can curb it off our reservation. Because deal with chigas about the cut with a lot of safe to do. We go with dealing safety walls. I gave them a policy call, I believe, an hour and a half to show up at my house. Here it is. Today, this will solve the problem here. And we like a government deal. It's not the state of Montana, it's not the FBI, it's not the OIG. I got deal right here. All of you guys dealing. We take the language and we enforce it. We do it. We deal with suits. So then they got all that. Big something, because we're a government. We have to start looking at like ourselves like a government. Kalaluga, guys, working na presentation maybe charge na good deal raja will be a change of direction. Like ideas just with liabilities today, like and listen watch out by how come we do law and they don't listen to us. And that deal will solve that problem too. They don't come equal lead us. They deal with ideas doesn't really know and you guys have another branches but you know they really got now I guess this deal it equalizes all of us. The three branches they may even get it. It's not now scale it is, it's not heavier on this side, got big, they can do whatever they want. Because it goes it's not a size, that's one of the things that I last 4 years do all guys this is a whole lot is for putting me letting me be here and doing the work for that justice bill. It's not a as I was saying, bonus. I have to look at each stack of papers. If you see on the table there, that's that's the people that complain. That's all the problems that there is. Because you told me they got 4 years in it. And most bug, I guess politics, right? I mean, if I have a stack of paper, I've been working for 4 years with this. I don't think I'd, I was honest, let it out the window. I get maybe I look at a ball lot, I just complaints today. Cool, they got most smog, they put they would take just to bring justice, to bring what they bylaws. These 48. I guess is cut down jails na kami na by this and good color goes I'm not trying to undercut nobody. We're not here for the safety of the people. We got to live on a reservation right in the heart, and so Bazan says good color hopefully like Gila, good color goes like that. This is a new direction we're taking.
Thank you, Senator Hill. At this time, we're still on 30-minute presentation. If there's no presentation, I need a motion to stop presentation, 30-minute presentation, and move forward. Go ahead, Senator Whiteley.
Motion to move on.
Cease 30-minute presentation.
Yeah, cease.
Motion was made by Senator Whiteley. I need a second by Senator Goodluck. Question by Senator Melville Stone. All in favor, raise your right hand. Fourteen yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. Moving on to, this was designated in Judicial Committee for the proposed bill. The chairman is Senator Hill. We'll go ahead and Senator Hill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker of the House, Secretary, Legislative Body, Legislative employees, and visiting guests. Date October 18th, we started a Judicial Committee meeting. We had the committee meeting called to order at 11:22. Legion Deputy was did the invocation. And the motion for the floor was by Drake Irons. Second was Sean Reilberg. Question was Brandon Goodluck. The consensus votes 11 yes for the floor, 0 no, 0 abstain. It was approved the committee.
That was approval.
Yes.
Okay, moving on. The floor is open for debate at this time. Go ahead, Senator Whitecliff.
Motion to cease debate.
Debate, I need a second. Second by Senator Goodluck. Question by Senator Mayor Stone. All in favor, raise your right hand. At this time, we'll go ahead and move on to amendments.
14.
14 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. Thank you, Secretary. At this time, we'll go ahead and move on to amendments. Is there any amendments?
Yes, there's some amendments.
Okay, at this time, we would like to recognize legal Don Gray for the amendments, and I believe you guys have that on your packet.
Thank you, Speaker. The only amendment that is made is on the bill itself for purposes of the session today. And I'll just go ahead and read those two items, and we felt there was a need to include the history for the bill. On the
May proceed.
So under the third whereas, the First Amendment is additional language. Whereas the Judicial Committee has held committee meetings for the last 4 years and has received information from law enforcement officials, courts, social services, and community members on the issues of law enforcement, judicial process, domestic violence, sentencing, jurisdictional issues, and has participated in community forums such as the annual Pro Law and Order Summit. And whereas the Judicial Committee has also received numerous reports, documents, and testimony from all entities participating in the Judicial Committee meetings and community forums. And that concludes the amendments.
Thank you. I would need a motion to adopt amendments. Go ahead, Senator Hill.
Do it up.
Motion to adopt by Senator Hill, second by Senator Goodluck, and question by Senator Yellowstone. All in favor to adopt amendments, raise your right hand.
14.
14 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. Moving on would be second reading. Go ahead, Senator Whitecliff.
Motion to waive second reading with amendments.
And on to the final roll call.
Now to final roll call vote.
Okay, motion made by Senator Whitecliff, second by Senator Goodluck, question by Senator Yellowtail. All in favor, raise your right hand. 14 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. At this time, we'll go ahead and proceed with backlogs. Backlogs with final roll call vote.
Cairns, Backlash, yes. Rogers, yes.
Whiteclay, yes.
Oh, yes.
Deltel, yes. Grovon, yes.
Deputy, yes.
Solomon, yes. Deep Green, yes. Come yes. Good luck, yes. Elder, Mighty Few, yes.
Carter Brown, Baduazabel, yes.
Koju Alexander, yes.
Batalius, Secretary Pro Tem.
14.
14 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. This CLB has passed. At this time, I would like to have Senator Hill say a few words.
All right, thank you, Speaker, Secretary, Legislative Body, yes, bodies. This is a whole Mahadi. I think this is the best thing that's going to ever happen for Troll Tribe in the direction of business, I guess today, good to need it, it's not me, and plus people out there that want to change. This is a whole Mahadi, oh.
Thank you. Yeah, Koruga, I want to congratulate Senator Hill You guys have been working late. I think it was about 7 o'clock, guys, and we were still here last night working on this bill. He's been working hard on it. He went out there and got signatures from the community to bring this bill onto the floor. So with that, that's what it's all about, is that we need to be out there and be proactive and get things going so we can, as a branch, values, you're not working, you're not here. So at this time, we are working and we're moving forward. So I just wanted to mention that. Thank you for looking out for the people. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and move on to, if there's any more, anybody else want to say anything, I'll go ahead and move on to the next one. Go ahead, Senator Gilbert.
Legislature, Bishop Salvi, Senator Hill, looking at the chair, about the chair, and feel what is you not guilty. And I'll get this was August. He'll go to districts now. Los August, I got a cook. They, I'll get the large guys come form, you know, on Johnny, Los August. Then I'll do this, and I know that Tom and I know that Tyson, you guys went to that forum, and I know that the people's hearts were heavy there. I know that it was something that needed to be done in the district, and I know that you guys put your opening, to go there and express yourself, and go forward with this. The one that was held in Crow, and then the two that were held in Lodgrass, the ones that were held other places. A lot of the people are crying out to the government, we the government, the legislative body, the executive body, and the judicial branch. But I'll get the lack of law enforcement is not the right way to live. Our people need to live in harmony and peace. And that's what you, the legislature, did. With your voice, your authority, you looked at the information, you analyzed, you provided your information, your opinion, your position, and now with that, people will have an opportunity to be protected. Our mission is that there be a police force in every district, that there be enforcement, and the individuals that need support and help and rehabilitation will also be there. And so with that, I think that I'd like to commend everybody for being here today, because that's the main reason that we're all here today. And at one point, I did express to the individuals that this needs to be done. When I talked to William Falls now, and he said, we need to get this done. He expressed that to us. He expressed it to Paul, and he expressed it to other individuals here. This is what needs to be done. Now, ideation. Now, William, ideation. We'll come on it. Now, I'd just like to say, today, with this law, my mother does not need to be worried that a meth addict can walk into her house and assault her. My other mother, her son was that situation in prior. Justice. Eugene's niece. Justice. The people in Lodgegrass, they deserve justice too. And thank you very much.
Thank you. With that being said, at this time, we'll go ahead and move on to our agenda, and that was a joint action resolution. Resolution approving, it's in your July packet, because you belong to during judicial committee meeting earlier. And so at this time, a resolution approving the Crow Tribe Limited waiver of the sovereign immunity in the interlocal agreement with Bighorn County, Montana for the AWA CDBG for Phase 3C. At this time, I believe Ilka is the Biwa Gohaj, but letting us know what's going on earlier. So, does everybody have a copy of the joint action resolution, the JAR? So with that, we'll go ahead and go into legal dawn. We'll go ahead and read that into record.
Which one? Is it? That's, I think, that's what it is.
We need to read it into record. Am I correct, Paul? Yeah, we need to read it into record. Was it read into in July? No, it wasn't read into
We have no forum in July.
July.
Great speaker, thank you. With your permission, I'll proceed.
Go ahead, proceed.
And it is again in your July packet, so I'm going to be reading the original document as introduced. July 2017 Pro-Tribal Legislature Joint Action Resolution number JAR 17-blank, introduced by Alvin Notafray Jr., Chairman, Pro-Tribal Executive Branch. Joint Action Resolution of the Pro-Tribal Legislature and the Pro-Tribal Executive Branch entitled Resolution approving the Pro-Tribe's limited waiver of sovereign immunity in the interlocal agreement with Bighorn County, Montana for the AWWWA CDBG for Phase 3C.
Need a motion to adopt. Motion by Senator Hill, second by Senator Goodluck. Question by Senator Stone. All, you may proceed.
Whereas pursuant to Article 5, Section 2A of the 2001 Pro-Tribal Constitution, the Pro-Tribal Legislature, hereinafter the Legislature, is vested with the power and duty to promulgate and adopt laws, resolutions, ordinances, codes, regulations, and guidelines in accordance with the 2001 Pro-Constitution and federal laws. And whereas Bighorn County, the county, is the recipient of a Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, from the Montana Department of Commerce, MDOC, to support construction costs associated with improving the wastewater collection system owned and operated by the Sauga Water and Wastewater Authority, AWWWA, INCRO agency, specifically the Phase 3 wastewater infrastructure improvement project consisting of replacement of approximately 6,700 feet of wastewater pipe and a new East Frontage Road lift station, the project. And whereas the county in its capacity as CDBG grantee has determined that AWWWA can better supervise the design and construction of the facilities as well as the collection and payment of assessments. And whereas the MDOC, pursuant to its CDBG group contract with the county, the CDBG contract has required the county to enter into an interlocal agreement with AWWWA specifying the terms and condition of the county's delegation of certain CDBG responsibilities to AWWWA, and whereas part of the interlocal agreement, the county has requested the Pro-Tribe on behalf of AWWWA to grant a limited waiver of the tribe's sovereign immunity for the purpose of enforcing the CDBG contract and interlocal agreement terms. And whereas the interlocal agreement between the county and AWWWA will enable them to enhance cooperation in implementing the county's CDBG CDBG award to accomplish the project. And whereas the chairman of the executive branch has authority and responsibility pursuant to the enumerated powers in Article 4, Section 3 of the Constitution and bylaws of the Crow Tribe of Indians to represent the Crow Tribe in negotiations with federal, state, and local governments and other agencies, corporations, associations, or individuals in matters of economic development affecting the Crow Tribe, and to negotiate and approve limited waivers of sovereign immunity when such a waiver is necessary for business purposes in accordance with Article 5, Section 2F of the Constitution, and whereas the chairman of the executive branch has negotiated the terms of the limited waiver of sovereign immunity in the interlocal agreement with the county as set forth in Exhibit A to this resolution, attached hereto and incorporated by reference, and whereas the legislative branch has authority and responsibility pursuant to its powers and duties in Article 5, Section 2F of the Constitution to grant final approval or disapproval of limited waivers of sovereign immunity by the executive branch when waivers are necessary for business purposes, and whereas entering into the interlocal agreement with the Bighorn County is in the best interest of the Crow Tribe, and the limited waiver of sovereign immunity is necessary for business purpose of entertaining in the interlocal agreement, into the interlocal agreement. Now therefore be it resolved by the Crow Tribal Legislature and the Crow Tribal Executive Branch, Section 1, that the limited waiver of the Crow Tribe's sovereign immunity in the interlocal agreement between the Apsáalooke Water and Wastewater Authority and Bighorn County, Montana for the county's CDBG grant funding in the form set forth in Exhibit A attached hereto and incorporated herein by reference is hereby approved. Section 2, that the approval granted herein is effective on the date of approval of this resolution and the execution of the interlocal agreement.
Thank you, Don. I know you're familiar with this, and we'll go ahead and I believe that we know the history. We'll go ahead and give you a 30-minute presentation on this.
I just wanted to backtrack a little bit. My colleague, Mr. Bill Watt, was the original presenter on this project, in addition with John Doyle, who is, I believe, the board chairman for AWA. And so they were able to receive, or were approached to receive, around $4 million to improve the wastewater project, as was stated in the legislation I just read. That required this judicial committee to waive sovereign immunity in certain areas of those projects. And so in July, if you can remember, the first 3 items of that project were waived. 3 different pieces of legislation this summer. This last piece of legislation, as it outlined for that project, is around, I think, $475,000, and it seemed to be very overbearing by the state of Montana as to what they were asking for. So I did want to commend the executive attorneys for getting that down quite a bit. I think they reduced it by about 90%. And the product that they had developed finally finished last week. And so I found it to be acceptable, and I think we can move forward. I didn't realize the big ramification of this project until this morning, realizing that if we didn't pass this 4th piece of legislation, it would affect the other 3 pieces of legislation. In total, the whole project of about $4 million. And so that was just brought to my attention this morning. So it is a big improvement for AWA, and it's a good improvement for the wastewater infrastructure station. So this concludes that series of LWSIs, as we call it. And again, for the changes in the executive branch, we don't have anybody here to present on their behalf. So Senator Hill with the Judicial Committee wanted to push this through today so that we can get this improvement. And again, the board chair, Mr. Doyle, is on travel. So that in a nutshell, that's my presentation, Speaker.
Thank you. With that, I believe we would need a motion for to cease 30-minute presentation and move on. If there's no more other presentation. Go ahead, Senator Hill.
Motion.
To cease 30-minute presentation. Motion made by Senator Hill, second by Senator Yellowtail, question by Senator Goodluck. All in favor, raise your right hand.
Thirteen.
13 yes, 0 no, and 0 abstain. And moving on, this was in Judicial Committee, designated in Judicial Committee. Chair is Senator Hill.
All right, thank you, Speaker, Secretary, legislative body, legislative employees. Today we had a meeting October 19th, 2017. Meeting called to order was at time 10 o'clock. Invocation was by Eugene Deputy. Members present was 9 when we started. By the time we got done with the meeting, we had 11 senators. So the meeting we had Justice and Truth in that interlocal agreement, and the motion was made by Eugene, or motion was made by Kevin Stone. Second was by Eugene Deputy. The third was by Eric Bergeron. That was passage for the floor, and the vote was 11 yes, 0 no, and 0 abstain. Thank you.
And that was for approval, correct? On to the floor.
Sir, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we'll go ahead and go into debate. Senator Whitecliffe. Go ahead, Senator Goodluck.
Make a motion to cease debate.
Okay.
Go into final roll call with amendments.
We need to read the amendments into record.
Okay. Just a motion to cease debate.
Okay, motion to cease debate is made by Senator Goodluck, second by Senator Stone. Question by Senator Yellowtail. All in favor, raise your right hand.
13-0.
13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. Motion has passed. We'll go ahead, and I believe there is amendments. So at this time, you may approach the floor. Legal Don.
Okay, with permission, I'll proceed with the amendments.
Go ahead, you may proceed.
The First Amendment is changing the title from July to October. In the title, I'll just read it as it is amendment. Resolution approving the Crow Tribes and AWA's limited waivers of sovereign immunity in the interlocal agreement with Bighorn County, Montana for the CDBG funding for AWA's Phase 3 wastewater project. The second whereas is added. Whereas pursuant to the Act denoted CLB 04-10, October 2004, the Crow Tribal Legislature and Executive Branch have established the Apsalaga Water and Wastewater Authority, AWA, as an instrumentality of the Crow Tribe for the purpose of remedying unsafe and unsanitary water, sewer, and other related facilities on the Crow Reservation in the interest of protecting public health, safety, and the environment, and And that third whereas, Absalga Water and Wastewater Authority is stricken. Quotes are around Awa. And the fourth added is the Crow Tribe and the fifth whereas, stricken from the language, the MDOC pursuant to its CDBG contract with the county, the CDBG contract has required the county to. Added was the county, the Crow Tribe, and Awa have agreed that entering, and the last for that one is the Crow Tribe and then as you'll see in the footer, that's updated for the header. Second page, added is under the Florida's contract with the MDOC, the CDBG contract added the Crow Tribe and after Awa is in the best interest of the parties. Next whereas adds Awa's, well let's see here, going back. Stricken is on behalf of, added is and, taken out is A and the S there, added is and Awa's. Next whereas add is the Crow Tribe. Going down further to the next one, taken out is limited waiver of sovereign immunity in the, and added later is including the limited waivers of sovereign immunity. The next full paragraph added is whereas although the terms of the agreement other than the limited waivers of sovereign immunity are generally not subject to the legislative branch approval under the tribal constitution, the county has requested that both branches approve and affirm the agreement is binding on both the Crow Tribe and the Awa. Next one is and Awa, and stricken is and added is are. Next page, section 1 and Awas is added. Taken out previous to that was the S on the waivers. Added is Crow Tribe. Corrected there is waste, the W after waste for water. After that, stricken is and added is AR. Section 2, that upon being duly executed by the parties, the terms of the interlocal agreement set forth in Exhibit A shall be fully binding and legally enforceable obligations of the Crow Tribe and Awa, and the terms of the agreement are hereby approved and confirmed. Section 2 is now Section 3, and R replaces is. And that concludes the amendments, Speaker.
Thank you, Legal Dawn. At this time, I would need a motion to adopt amendments. Motion by Senator Hill, second by Senator Goodluck. A question by Senator Stone. All in favor, raise your right hand. All in favor, raise your right hand.
13-0.
13 yes, 13 or 0 no, 0 abstain. Motion is adopted. Amendments are adopted. Okay, we'll go into second reading. Go ahead, Senator.
Motion to waive second reading. Go with roll call vote.
With amendments.
Amendments.
Motion is made by Senator Hill, second by Senator Stone, question by Senator Goodluck. All in favor, raise your right hand.
Yes, 13-0.
13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. Backhouse, you may proceed with a final roll call vote.
Behind, Black yes.
White Clay, Black Lodge, yes.
Yo, yes.
Littlefield, Lodgegrass, yes.
Groveon, Lodgegrass, yes.
Deputy Bighorn, yes.
Slaughterworth, Bighorn, yes.
Deep Green, yes.
Devontae, Lugos, yes.
Eagles, Charger, yes.
Melville, Wyola, yes.
Burden ground, Baduakhaba, yes.
Spudula, Charger, Spudula, yes.
Pro Tem Secretary Worcester Kelly.
13-0.
13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. And this action new business, I'd like to go ahead and make a motion on the agenda to move it up to a resolution designate Little Bighorn College as a solid educated educational research center. So I make that motion. I would need a second. Second by Senator Goodluck, question by Senator Middleton. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay.
Briefly voted.
Okay.
13-0.
13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. At this time, we'll go ahead and have legal done.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. With permission, I'll proceed with reading.
Go ahead, proceed.
In Tribal Legislature, October 2017 regular session, Joint Action Resolution number 17-blank, introduced by Alvin Modifray Jr., Chairman, Crow Tribal Executive Branch, Joint Action Resolution of the Crow Tribal Legislature, and the Crow Tribal Executive Branch entitled, A Resolution Designating Little Bighorn College as the Apsáalooke Educational Research Center. Legislative findings, whereas pursuant to Article 5, Section 2A of Crow Tribal Constitution.
order.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I was being tested there. We need a motion to adopt. Motion by Senator Goodluck. Need a second. Second by Senator Whiteclay. You may proceed.
Legislative findings, whereas pursuant to Article 5, Section 2A of Crow Tribal Constitution, the Crow Tribal Legislature, hereinafter legislature, has the power and duty to promulgate and adopt laws and resolutions in accordance with this Constitution and federal laws for the governance of the Crow Tribe of Indians, and for providing for the exclusion of persons not legally entitled to reside or remain within the exterior boundaries of the Crow Indian Reservation. And whereas pursuant to Article 4, Section 3H of the Crow Tribal Constitution, the Crow Tribal Executive Branch, hereinafter Executive Branch, has the power and responsibility to exclude from the restricted lands of the Crow Tribe any persons not legally entitled to reside therein, under ordinances which shall be adopted by the legislature. And whereas pursuant to Article 4, Section 4A of the Crow Tribal Constitution, the Executive Branch has the general duty to implement all laws, resolutions, codes, and policies duly adopted by the legislature. Whereas the Little Bighorn College is chartered by the Crow Tribe as the tribal college for the Crow Nation, and whereas the mission of the Little Bighorn College is to support the professional, vocational, and personal development of individual students for their advancement in higher education or the workplace, and inspiring Crow and American Indian scholarship. And whereas the goal of the Little Bighorn College's research policy is to strengthen LBHC research activities to address issues of importance to the Crow Tribe and to support the college's core themes. Number 1, access to educational and training opportunities. Number 2, commitment to community education and outreach. Number 3, dedication to the enhancement of the Crow culture and language by placing an increased emphasis on student research. The college educates undergraduate students not only to be consumers of knowledge, but producers of knowledge. Whereas the objectives of the Little Bighorn College's research policy are that, number 1, students will learn to conduct research by engaging with faculty, staff, and the Crow community in local research projects, and or by participating in opportunities to conduct summer research with universities. Number 2, local research projects will address issues meaningful to our community and, when appropriate, will be conducted following the principles of community-based participatory research, CBPR. Students and their mentors will present research results to the Crow community through an LBHC open house and will provide research results to the LBHC library archives for community access. And 3, the appropriate incorporation of Crow culture and or language will be considered in designing research projects. Whereas the president of Little Bighorn College reviews and ensures the ethics and appropriateness of all research carried out by the college, especially with regards to participation of Crow community members, the engagement of the community as appropriate, and the relevant and ethical incorporation of Crow history and culture. Whereas Little Bighorn College has had and continues to have successful undergraduate research program over the last 15 years, addressing diverse topics from Crow culture and history to health, natural resources, water quality, and other issues. Whereas Little Bighorn College president, with appropriate administrators, faculty, staff, and students, offers to meet annually with the Crow Tribal Administration and with the Crow Tribal Legislature to present and discuss results of the year's research. Whereas the annual presentations will be archived with the Little Bighorn College Library for community access. And whereas the Crow Tribal Administration and the Crow Tribal Legislature are invited to inform Little Bighorn College of local issues for which research might help provide better understanding and potential solutions, and the college agrees to look into whether appropriate people or funding sources can be found to conduct such research within the inclusion of LBHC students. Now therefore be it resolved in regular session, Section 1, that the Crow Tribal Administration and the Crow Tribal Legislature support the Little Bighorn College's mission and research policy by designating LBHC as the Educational Research Center for the Crow Tribe of Indians. Attached to this jar will be a list of subject matters in which designates the Little Bighorn College as the research center. Section 2, in the event any other Crow Tribal entities seek to complete the same research activities, the tribal entity and Little Bighorn College may work together or designate the lead authority for the purpose of alleviating duplication of activities and sharing resources, provided that any such relationship shall be established by an agreement in writing. Section 2, that the approval granted herein is effective on the date of approval of this resolution.
Thank you, Don. You want to give a little history on this?
This project came on request from the Little Bighorn College through John Doyle and the students, which derives or came from testing of the water in the community. And because of that type of testing of water in the community, there was not enough process or procedure or protocol on how to deal with that type of water testing. And so with assistance from MSU Bozeman and Little Bighorn College, they were able to secure funds to do that research and to provide further testing. But as they were going through that, they recognized that they had to be designated as the research entity for the Crow tribe, as they had the resources and the ability to follow such research process. So it was really kind of a hand-in-hand deal that was available to address the testing of the water on the Crow Indian Reservation. So this JAR was developed by the Little Bighorn College. It's an agreement between both the executive and legislative branches that they be designated the research team for this pursuant to the college's policies. And while they're going through the research and testing, it lends to the education of the students. It also helps them bridge to further education, if so be it MSU Bozeman. It also provides for recording every part of the step and using that as a tool for teaching and to archiving the material in Little Bighorn College. So we're hitting a lot of birds with one stone just by designating them as the research entity, which provides them with the tools from MSU Bozeman and grant-funded opportunities. And the research will provide the outcome and benefit to the Crow tribe.
Thank you, Don. There's you are the na grant na zidu grant today look college up they want to go ahead and create the curriculum and then then or whoever educate testing research for this for the water and nuclear. I believe we're trying to find out how we can secure that data. The Bighorn College, the IRB, so that we on the lot for that. And so with that, anymore? If not, I would need a motion to cease. Go ahead, Brandon. Senator, good luck. You may go ahead.
I'm a proponent of this bill here. And also, I worked along with Mark Akers and John Doyle. And this is a good deal. It's going to open up it's going to create a bridge for the Crow students that go to Little Bighorn College that want to go into research of whether it's in the lab or whether it's out in the field doing field measurements, things like that. This is going to create Crows that can work in labs and go into a 4-year degree, whether it's MSU D. Bozeman or MSU Bellings or MSU Bozeman, or whether it's U of M. This is going to create that. So where we can get our Crow students here at Crow and go to Little Bighorn, they can go into a 4-year college and continue to pursue their degree in research. It's a good thing. So I'm a proponent of this bill, and I thank you, senators, that you support this. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Good luck. One thing I wanted to add too is that the problems that we have or potential problems is if we start monitoring those activities, our rivers and if there's a drastic change, we can see the outcome of those research, and we have an archive on that, so that way we can say, hey, this didn't happen back then, or this happened now, or it'll kind of give us a timeline of what's going on too. I wanted to throw that in there, and like I said, just like Senator Goodluck said, I am a proponent of this for research. If there's no other presentation, if not, I would need a motion to cease 30-minute presentation. Motion by Senator Goodluck. Need a second? Second by Senator Hill. Question? Question by Senator Deputy. All in favor, raise your right hand. 13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. We'll move on to, this was designated in Health and Human, and we'll go back October 17th to this. We had a committee meeting, and I was the chair of Health and Human. Our pro temp secretary, Sean Milberg, was the vice chair, and at that time we had 5 committee members and also legal dog. And it started at 11 o'clock. We had Tom Yellowtail give a vocation, and the motion was made by Senator Goodluck, Brandon Goodluck, and second was motion by Senator Stone, and questioned by Senator Yellowtail. And it was a consensus vote of yes, moving on to the floor. What's that? So now we'll go ahead and go into for approval to the floor. Yes, yes. We're into debate right now, so on my protocol. So the floor is open for debate. If not, I make a motion to cease debate by Senator Goodluck, second by Senator Whiteclay, question by Senator Hill. All in favor, raise your right hand to cease debate. 13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. We'll move on to amendments, and I believe we do have amendments on legal down. You may approach the floor.
Thank you, Speaker. We just handed out the amendment. There's one that I didn't pick up until I read it. What we're going to do with the second whereas is cross it out. That pertains to exclusion of persons. That doesn't apply to this JAR. And then we have under section 1 of the therefore be it resolved, added after Indians is pursuant to the Crow Tribes IRRB laws and policies, including federal requirements, which have an S at the end. Section 2, adding after writing, consistent with section 1 above. And then section 2 now becomes 3 there at the bottom. So those are including of the amendments, Speaker.
Thank you, Don. At this time, I would need a motion to adopt amendments. Motion by Senator Goodluck, second by Senator Stone, question by Senator Hill. All in favor, raise your right hand.
13-0.
13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. Moving on to second reading. Go ahead, Senator Goodluck.
Motion to waive second reading. Go into final roll call vote with amendments.
Motion's made by Senator Goodluck, second by Senator Whiteclay, question by Senator Hill. All in favor, raise your right hand. 13 yes,
13 yes.
0 no, 0 abstain. You may proceed with final roll call vote. Senator Therians.
Yes, Black Lodge, yes.
Whiteclay, Black Lodge, yes.
You, I'll move that.
Yellowtail, Lodgegrass, yes.
Grove on Lodgegrass, yes.
Deputy, yes.
Swallow is big one, yes.
Deep Green, yes. DeWanda, yes.
Good luck, Eagle, Shpigat, Bud Charger, yes.
Nailberry, yes.
Burden Ground, Bado Khabay, yes.
Shkodjiwa, Charger, Emma.
Secretary, what's the tally?
13-0.
13 yes,
Yes.
0 no, 0 abstain. This jar has passed. So, just wanted to say thank you on that. We've been working on that for a while. Last minute, because we had committee meetings and trying to hash that out. And I think Senator Goodluck is the product of that research and we've been working on trying to fine tune how we can improve our research here at the college and give our students and trying to find out solutions here on our reservation. So even if there's not something we want to monitor that too. So with that, I want to say thank you for your favor vote. So any more? If not, at this time, I would like to go ahead and proceed with. We have a big metal agreement that we passed back in. Was it? When was it? Don?
The dates are on there.
It was in
It's on the bill.
9/21 of 17. It was jar. The It was the 25th of July of 2017, I believe, and we passed it, but there's no. It was in regular session, so we passed that Big Meadow agreement, and then we didn't get a signature. Am I correct?
You didn't get a signature.
So we didn't get a signature from the executive side. So at this time, it would be it was a pocket veto. So at this time, we would have to veto override football. So at this time, process that
2/3 vote.
2/3 vote to
Override.
override. So
Veto, yeah.
so
Yeah, you gotta use it by roll call. Use it by roll call.
okay. So we would need a motion to veto override at this time for a final roll call vote on this Big Meadow agreement. Am I correct, Don? So with that, I would need a motion. Motion, or go ahead, Senator Whitecliff.
Motion for veto override.
Okay, motion's made by Senator Whitecliff. Need a second. Senator Hill seconds it. Need a question? Question? Go ahead, Senator Stone. Question? All in favor, raise your right hand to move on to final roll call vote. Okay, no, okay, no. We got 12, okay, so there's 12 yes, 1 no, any abstain? Okay, so that's 13, or 12 yes, 1 no, 0 abstain. Correction, so moving on to final roll call for veto override on the Big Meadow. On that, I Don, do we just go on to final roll call vote here? And we're trying to clarify something here.
Yeah, we're good, we're good.
We're good, so
Roll call.
okay, so it's a vote. So at this time, Senator Sir Irons, you may proceed with the final roll call veto override vote.
3 hands, Black Lodge, yes.
Whitecliff, Black Lodge, yes.
Hill, Article yes.
Yalto, Lundgren, yes.
Groveman, Lundgren, yes.
And Deputy, the field chair, he say, aye.
Slide Rose, abstain. Bighorn.
Deep Green, yes.
Dewani, Abdullah, yes.
Good luck, Igor Stigat, Balachaja, no.
Melbear, Viola, yes.
Burger Ground, yes. Baru Khana.
Smudge Okaban, Shkodjo, Judge, yes.
What's the tally?
The tally is 10 yes, 1 abstain, 1 no.
11.
Oh, 11.
11.
Correction on that. 11.
Did
I
you get
mismeant
that,
that.
Becky?
Mismeant that.
Okay. Okay, so this veto override is passed. Thank you. Okay, now we're going on to, there's another one, the timber sales, executive session, and on to Okay, so next business of order is, if you go ahead and look at the timber sales, a resolution authorizing the chairman of the executive branch to negotiate sales.
Which one are we at?
Is that the right one? Negotiate of tribal forest products and to execute on behalf of the Crow tribe documents necessary to sell, trade in timber. This was enacted in special session July 25th. And so with that, I wanted to just let you know that it becomes law on last day of this regular session pursuant to CLB 0608. So I wanted to just mention that. With that, also we would need a motion to get a consensus vote on what we just talked about. So with that, yeah.
That was under Frank, right? Was that under you?
The forestry?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was under forestry, natural resources, under forestry, natural resources. So we would need a motion for a consensus vote to require our carryover money. With that, motion's made by Tyson Grovon. Need a second? Second by Senator Whiteclay. Question? Question by Yellowtail. All in favor? Raise your right hand. Okay. So I have
13 yes, 0 no.
13 yes, 0 no, and 0 abstain. So at this time, I would like to ask, there's no announcements on what's going on, so I would need a motion to recess until tomorrow, or adjourn.
Recess, you. Recess the body.
Okay, motion to recess until tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Go ahead, Senator Whiteley.
I'll make that motion.
Motion's made. Need a second? Second by Paul Spadadorf. All in favor, raise your right hand. Johnny? Okay, we are officially
13
13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. It's 3:05. So we are officially in recess until tomorrow morning at 10.